Hello there guys and girls. It's been a while since I've made a tutorial because I've already covered a lot of things, if not most of the things you need to know about making machinima with GTA 5. If you have any ideas or wishes, you can still suggest and request topics for machinima and I'll see if I get around to covering those. The reason for this very tutorial is a new mod or script that was brought to my attention by xxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxxDon't worry about it, so I had to make this video. The plugin is called No Rockstar Editor Restrictions by Unknown Modder. By the way, that's the same guy who created the incredibly useful launcher bypass. Now the script No Rockstar Editor Restrictions does exactly what its name says it does. It removes certain camera boundaries while editing footage. And before you say,
"Wait a minute!
Isn't this what Open Camera was made for?" Well, yeah. This mod too removes the maximum distance limit you can move away from the character you played as during recording. But on top of that, it removes other annoying limits that are forced upon you while editing camera angles in GTA 5, such as collision of the camera with objects or the field of view limit, which is quite narrow in the vanilla version. Let me show you how to install it. First, you're gonna need the ASI loader from ScriptHook 5, but if you've ever modded your GTA 5, you'll need that file anyway for everything. This download just consists of these two essential files that you have to copy into your main GTA 5 directory. The native trainer is optional. Also, you need to have the 2019 Visual C++ redistributables installed on your machine. You can find the download links in the video description, at least if you're not blind, but then why the hell would you try to make machinima in the first place? Tell me this! Then you can download the actual mod, unzip the archive and copy both the ASI and the INI files to your main GTA 5 directory like so. And that's it. If you want, you can now deactivate Open Camera by removing these files here from the main game directory. They're not needed anymore. In order to show you the three main advantages of this new plugin over the vanilla editor, let me show you a before and after comparison for each one. Unlimited camera distance. Just like Open Camera, this script removes the invisible sphere within which you can move your camera. Instead of seeing this annoying red thing pop up, you can roam the area freely now. But keep in mind that the surroundings are still gonna get low poly and bad texture the farther you move away from your character. That's normal. No camera collision. Especially when you're shooting in confined spaces like small apartments, it can be very difficult to maneuver the camera around without it getting stuck on random objects. Thanks to the script, the collision is turned off and you can glitch your camera through these objects. Also, sometimes the camera won't go through some of the doors or windows in-game. You can now fly through them as well. Heck, why don't you just fly through the ground to save even more time while navigating through apartments? Be careful though, because sometimes when you move out of boundaries of the building, the interior may look kinda weird. Just fly around randomly until it looks normal again. However, there are a couple of configuration options I want to show you. If you open up the file noEditorRestrictions.ini with Notepad++ or any other text editor, you will find three different settings. By default, they're all set to true, which means that you can move the camera through objects during editing, while previewing, and while the camera is blending between markers, both during smooth and linear blend. By replacing either of these values with false, you can basically reactivate the camera collision so that it acts like the vanilla cam in editor. I don't know why you would want to do that, but just in case you can. Maybe you don't want the camera to glitch through anything. In that case, you have to reboot the game after making these changes so they can take effect. Bigger FOV variety. The field of view setting is basically the zoom factor of your camera. By default, you can only move that value from 0.45 to a maximum of 4.5. With the plugin activated, you can decrease or increase the FOV even further for insanely long zoom shots. The lowest value is an almost absurd 0.28 and the highest possible value is a whooping 45.0. But beware, at these high zoom levels you may lose orientation in confined spaces. By the way, in that regard, the Rockstar Editor camera operates just like any physical camera. If you zoom out, the edges of the frame get more and more warped, while at the same time the depth of field is reduced. If you zoom in more, making the field of view narrower, the edges are not warped anymore and the bokeh gets more and more intense. This is what gets you this great film look. but you can always adjust the amount of blur by additionally changing the depth of field settings in the editor. These two comparison shots are with the same DOF settings at different FOV settings. Another side effect of this is that objects in the background will appear much larger than with a lower field of view. This technique is, for example, often used in real-life photography for pictures of the moon. Depending on the zoom factor of the lens, the moon appears in different sizes relative to the object in the foreground. With a bigger range for field of view, you can also create more extreme dolly zoom shots, aka vertigo effects. I've explained how these work in my Rockstar Editor tutorial. All of these advantages are available to you after installing. Just let me show you one example shot that makes use of all three of them. First, I'm gonna aim my camera at the character with a somewhat normal field of view. Now I will move away from him farther than I could ever do in Vanilla Editor. Thanks to the remove collision, I can now fly away in a straight line instead of having to maneuver the camera through open windows or doors. Also, it would technically allow me to move the camera through glass windows, which can be useful for creative shots. Now that I've reached an extreme distance that wouldn't be possible in vanilla mode, I can make a new marker back here and zoom all the way back in until I see my character. As you can see, he's pretty blurry right now, so the smart thing to do is to set the depth of field target to him for both of my markers. Now I can change the blend mode to smooth and see the result. In my opinion, this is truly a tiny mod with a big impact on the freedom for your video edits. Don't forget to go to the mod page and leave a 5-star rating for this great idea. If you have any questions, leave a comment below and I will try to help you to the best of my abilities. I also hope that you liked the tutorial, because I totally did. I even gave myself a like. Thank you for watching and stay tuned. Manova over.